Hello and welcome to my channel, The Day Tradester. On this channel, I show you the trades that I make every day, whether they are both sell and buy, and that's part of my swing trading strategy. The swing trading strategy that I show in these videos are a very simple strategy. I make trades based on three triggers, the triggers of the moving averages crossing each other, which is the fast moving average and the slow moving average, or price crossing above or below the fast moving average and the slow moving average. So those are the only triggers I have in this strategy. Like I said, this is a very simple strategy, and my videos are designed for people who are not in the markets or are new to the markets to either get into the markets and to become a little more profitable possibly. So let's start off taking a look at today's candle, the price action for today. You can see that we have hit an all-time high. We gapped up, which means we opened a little bit higher than the previous day's close. Whereas opposite of a gap up, we have a gap down. We open lower than the previous day's close. So we have a gap up. We went down a little bit at the start of the day, but then it's just been an uphill run all day long. It's been a super day. So if you are an investor, then you're happy today because your portfolio balance has grown. All right, we did receive some sell alerts, so we'll go ahead and start taking a look at those. First one that we're going to take a look at is the ETF XLY. Zoom back in here so we can take a better look at the charts. All right, yesterday we had price drop below both our slow moving average, our fast moving average. Our fast moving average crossed below the slow moving average, and this is mainly because this was the move of Tesla. XLY is an ETF for consumer discretionary, and Tesla is not considered an automobile company. They are part of the, they are an auto company, but for placement and in one of the 11 sectors of the market, they are in the consumer discretionary and not an automobile. And to show you that this move is basically directly linked to Tesla, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a Tesla chart. So if we look at this candle and we compare it to the neighboring candle of today, we opened up about 3/4 of the way down, we dropped, and then we've come back up. So let's take a look at Tesla chart on a daily chart. And we have a similar situation. We have a long down day on the red candle for Tesla. We opened up, somewhere 3/4, halfway down on yesterday's candle. We dropped, and then we've come back up. So with the XLY being an ETF for the consumer discretionary, it's directly linked to how Tesla moves, unfortunately. Now, what I typically do when I have the fast moving average cross the slow moving average and we have a continuation move, I try to sell everything that I'm able to at a profit. And if I'm not able to sell some shares at a profit, I will set a sell order, which is what we have here for 2 of the shares. However, we do not have a true continuation. In order for this to be a true continuation, price needs to be below the close of the triggering candle. And we do not have that. So right now, we're just going to leave XLY on our list. We will not be selling it, and we'll take a look at it tomorrow. And if we have a candle tomorrow that drops below this price, then we'll go ahead and hopefully sell at a profit. The next stock we're going to look at is NRG. NRG is an energy producing company. They produce basically energy by everything, I think even nuclear. I'll have to check on that, but I know for certain that they use coal and oil and solar. They are a huge energy company. So today we have the candle moving up, which is contrary to yesterday's candle, which is what we received the trigger on. Yesterday we activated a trigger. We received the alert today for a possible sell, but we will not be selling any NRG stock because we do not have continuation of this downward move. Yesterday we had the fast moving average cross below our slow moving average, which is a trigger to try to sell all of our stocks. But just like the XLY, we have price moving up, so we will not be selling anything at this point in time. So we're going to take a look at another one on our list, which is JP Morgan. So JPM. So we have a continuation of yesterday's fast moving average crossing below the slow moving average. So we will be looking to sell some JP Morgan. Right now I have 2 shares. We have one already sitting in a limit order. I purchased JP Morgan for $297.98. So we will be selling 1 share at a profit. And it's got to be above. Let's hit this again. So 305.70 from 297. So we'll round that up to 298, and we'll round the sell price up to 306. So that's roughly an $8 profit on the sell of 1 share of JP Morgan. All right, another stock we're going to take a look at is Goldman Sachs. All right, Goldman Sachs, we had price. Not only did just price move below both of our averages, we had the fast moving average cross below our slow moving average. Now Goldman Sachs, this one's a little tricky. And the reason it's a little tricky is because we have a signal to sell everything that we have out of our shares that we own. I currently own 3 shares. I max out at 4, but I've already sold one at a profit for right back here when we had price drop below the fast moving average. And we sold this when it was a continuation of this original cross back here. This is not a continuation of this candle, it's a continuation of this cross. And when we sold, price was lower, but after we sold, price moved up a little bit. Now this is a clear continuation and it is a clear signal to sell. However, Goldman Sachs has their earnings next week. They have organized and headed 8 IPOs last quarter, and they were very profitable, which in turn makes Goldman Sachs profitable. And not only that, they actually saw an increase in business after the interest rates were dropped. Now, if this was information all on its own and we didn't have earnings coming up and we didn't have the news of the IPOs, then I would be selling whatever I could at a profit, which I would be selling 2 shares at a profit. So for right now, I am going to ignore this continuing downtrend, this continuation candle of the price crossing below the slow moving average, and I'm going to take the knowledge that Goldman Sachs has had some major profitable IPOs, and I'm going to use that information to not sell. Now they report earnings next Tuesday. Now, if I come in tomorrow and we have a further price drop, I will go ahead and sell. I might sell the shares. I'll at least sell one of them. If we get a price drop down to $770 or lower, I will probably just sell all of the shares. And then if price starts to move back up before earnings, I'll buy back in, because I'm predicting that Goldman Sachs is going to have a very profitable third quarter. And that means their price might skyrocket up $40 or $50 next Tuesday. Now, I don't have a great deal of success. It's probably 50-50 on my predictions on which way the stock will travel after earnings reports. So we'll pass on Goldman Sachs today. We'll take a look at it tomorrow, and we'll make a determination tomorrow based on price action tomorrow. All right, another stock we're going to take a look at is another banking stock, and that's American Express. So here we currently own 3 shares. We already have one sitting in a limit order. So we have 2 shares that are available for sale. We have an absolute continuation of price moving down. We are going to look to sell both of those shares. So we're going to bump this up to 2, and we're looking to sell 2 shares at, see if we're able to sell them at $324. I bought those at $308. So that's $16 profit per share. So that's a $32 profit on those the sell of those shares of American Express. Now next Tuesday, if Goldman Sachs has great earnings, American Express might, in sympathy, rise with Goldman Sachs. It just won't be to the same degree that Goldman Sachs moves. A lot of banks, depending on what the company is, if it's a similar company and company A has a great earnings, all the other companies that might be similar to that might go up as well. And that's typical across all sectors of the economy. And we have another banking stock that we're going to take a look at. That's Bank of America. Zoom in a bit. So Bank of America, we already have a limit order for 4 shares. We currently have 4 shares remaining. And when I'm maxed out, I like to have 4 shares per book. So if I was maxed out on a Bank of America, I'd have 16 shares. But I currently only have 4 that's available for sale. Unfortunately, the current price of $49.89 is lower than my purchase price of $50.80. But we have price clearly moving down. We have the fast moving significantly away from the fast moving average significantly away from the slow moving average. So we're going to be placing a sell order on these 4 shares. 1, 2, 3, 4. I purchased these, as I said, at $50.80. So we go to the 50s place and we take 10% of that, which is 5 cents. And we're going to add 5 cents to 50.80 and make it 50.85. $50.85. We have good till cancel, extended hours, and confirm and send. And there's our sell order for the last book of Bank of America. All right, the next one we're going to look at is Lam Research, which is LRCX. All right, so Lam Research, they are part of the semiconductor industry. They create and design wafers that are part of the semiconductor manufacturing process to make the computer chips that NVIDIA and AMD make. You can see yesterday we had a trigger. We had price move below our fast moving average. Today we received a possible sell alert. However, we do not have a continuation of this move. We have price, even though it did continue by its open, it gapped down. We have price continuing to go up all day today. So we will not be selling any Lam Research. We will be leaving that on our list. Take a look at it tomorrow. But for now, we're moving on to Roku. And take a look at that. Most people are familiar with Roku. They create a streaming device that allows you to gain access to all types of streaming services. Now we had, again, just like the previous stock of Lam Research, we had price fall below our fast moving average. However, this time we have a clear continuation down of that particular move. With Roku, I like to be maxed out at 8 shares, and that's 2 shares per book. So we will be looking to sell 1 book, which is 2 shares, and we'll be selling at $100. We'll try it at $100.23. And that did not go, so we'll cancel that. We'll look at it 100. Well, we'll just do sell market, sell two shares. We sold that at $100.26 rounded up. So I'm selling shares that I bought at $98.90. So we'll just call that $3 a share. So that's $6 of profit on that sale. All right, now it's time to take a look at TJX. And TJX, what do we have? All right, we got a big move down today, and the current price of $140.81 is below my purchase price of $141.34. But what we do have continuation down of this particular cross of price moving across this fast moving average. So this continuation down is one trigger. Now we do have a cross of the slow moving average, but we will not be selling. We don't sell any books on the day that we actually have a trigger. We have to wait until tomorrow and to see if we actually have a sell alert sent to us, because throughout the day this price may rise back up, and then we'd be selling when we don't have to. Unlike what I did with Goldman Sachs, I easily 95% of the time, I do what I look at the charts, I look at the price, and I make my decisions based on that. I'm somewhat mechanical. I'm not 100% mechanical, because there is news that comes out, and there are other factors that I want to take a look at, see if I actually do want to make a trade based strictly on the indicators. And in this case, I will be selling one book. Actually, correction, we'll be placing a sell order for one book. With TJX, I'm maxed out at 8 shares. And that's 2 shares a book, but I currently have 3 books. So we're going to look for TJX in our watch list. Right click. We're looking to sell 2 shares. And my purchase price of TJX is $141.34. So we go to the first digit, take 10% of the hundreds place. That's 10 cents. We're going to add 10 cents to the 141.34, make it 141.44. So 141 and 44 cents. Good till cancel, extended hours, confirm and send. And now we have 4 shares already sitting in sell orders ready to be purchased if price jumps back up and goes in the upward direction. Another stock that we're going to take a look at is Google, G-O-O-G. Everybody's familiar with Google and what they do. So what we have price, the fast moving average, crossed below the slow moving average 1, 2, 3 days ago. We did not have continuation 2 days ago. We did not have continuation of that move yesterday, but we do have continuation of that move, of this cross, before, from 3 days ago. So we're going to be looking to sell as many shares as we can of Google. I currently have 6. I have 2 shares per book, so right now I have 3 books of Google. And I will be selling all 6 shares at a profit. So we're going to come into our active trader, bump that up to 6, and we're looking to sell all 6 at 245.61. I must have a limit order somewhere on that. I do. We can't see it. There's a limit order up here probably for 2 of the shares. So we're going to drop this down to 4, and we'll see if we can sell that. Okay, that's not going. Let's cancel that. Just sell market. So we sold those at 245.62. So I had purchased 2 shares at 193 and 2 shares at 207. So that's roughly a $70 profit for 2 of the shares. Excuse me, not 255, 245. So that's roughly a $50 profit per share. So that's $100 for 2 shares there. And it's roughly $40 for the 2 other shares. So there's a $180 profit for the sale of the Google shares. So right now we're looking at roughly a $226 profit on our swing trading strategy today. Now I haven't had much profits in the swing trading strategy because most of the stocks have just been going up. But at least we're able to sell some Google, and we'll look to buy back in when we have the fast moving average cross back above the slow moving average. Or if this continues downward all the way to the point to where our RSI reaches all the way down on the lower end of the range, then we'll probably buy in at that part of the range. We won't wait for price to cross back above the fast moving average, or excuse me, back above the slow moving average. So several indicators that we look at to make our purchases and sells. But as I said earlier at the beginning of the video, the simplest part is just looking at the moving averages as they cross back and forth, and then as price. But that's really the main 3 indicators for this strategy. So now we're going to look at App 11, APP. So if you've been watching my videos, you will recall that 2 days ago we had a massive move down based on somewhat negative news, but not really negative news. And then we had price come back yesterday, and we've still had it come back. It opened a little bit lower than yesterday's close. It ultimately went up quite a bit, but it's dropped back down, and we're now in a downward trend for the day. But at this point, we're not going to be selling any App 11. We clearly do not have a continuation of this move down. That was a big emotional move and not based on any real facts. But tomorrow, if we have price continue down, and if we get price around the where the candle opened yesterday, I'll probably look to sell some App 11. But for right now, we'll wait and see what price does. All right, that takes care of all of our sell alerts that we had to take a look at. And now we're going to take a look at our buy alerts to see if we're able to buy anything. I've got roughly a little less than $3,000 if I look at the day trading stocks that I have to make purchases if price falls to where I can purchase them. So that's roughly $1,000. So I have roughly $2,000 to possibly purchase some stocks with today. So let's take a look at our first one, which is Marriott, which is M-A-R. All right, so for Marriott, recently we had fast moving average cross above the slow moving average, and this is an indicator. When we have this trigger and we have a continuation of the move, I like to max out and purchase all the stocks that I have allotted for that particular equity. And for Marriott, I max out at $1 or excuse me, 1 share a book, so that would be a total of 4 shares. Now, unfortunately, we do not have a continuation of the move up. We have price fell down a lot yesterday, and then we had price ultimately even go lower than yesterday's low. So this is not a good signal to purchase, so we will not be purchasing any Marriott today. So the next one we'll take a look at is XYZ, which is the new company name for Block, which is the Block was the new company for Square. So XYZ is the stock ticker for, even though it's still called Block, XYZ is the stock ticker for Block. Now, we clearly have a good trend moving up. We currently have no shares. And for XYZ, now, even though this is a good, strong move, Block is going to possibly face some headwinds with the advent and increase improvement in AI. But that's a year down the road or so. But for now, we are going to go ahead and max out. We've got a good, strong indicator here. So we're going to purchase 8 shares of Block, and that'll max us out at 2 shares per book. And hopefully we'll get it at 81.67. So 81.65 actually is what we purchased the 8 shares of Block. If you're seeing my videos for the first time, then you don't know that I actually day trade in this account as well. And I day trade every stock that I own. I look to make profits all throughout the day in this account. So I set sell orders for many of the stocks that I have while I'm making my video. So I'm going to set a sell order for Block, and I'm going to set it 20 cents higher than the current price is right now. So at roughly $80, we just bought 8 shares. So that's roughly 640. We'll round it up to 650. So that gives us roughly 1,350. We'll just round it to 400. We have roughly $1,400 remaining to purchase some additional stocks. Let's see what we're able to do. Okay, another stock that we have to take a look at is Twilio, TWLO. Okay, we had a cross 2 days ago. We had confirmation of that cross. However, price ended up turning down. And now we absolutely have a continuation of this cross. So we're going to look to max out. And with Twilio, I max out at 8 shares. And that's 2 shares per book. So we only have 2 remaining shares to buy. So we'll bump this up to 2. And we'll look to get 2 shares of our Twilio. That did not occur. So we'll look at it again. Nope. All right, we'll just buy market. That'll happen a little bit faster. Bottom at 113.57. All right, now you can see we sold several shares. So price, we actually owned 6 shares prior to this transaction, and price actually came up and hit one of our sell alerts. So we were able to sell that, and we've been day trading that. Now, when we do have price cross, and we have a continuation, we have confirmation of the move, any shares, all but 1 book, I will cancel all our sell orders that we have except for 1 book. As I said earlier, I try to day trade every single equity that I own. I'll day trade all day long throughout the day. On average, I make over 200 trades a day, and I do that because I want to maximize my profits. This is what I do all day, every day. This is what I do for a living. But we're going to go ahead and cancel these 2 orders, these 2 books. So now if this sells, then I'll come back in. Again, as I'm making my videos, I set the price 20 or 30 cents higher for something that's $100. So I just bought 2 shares. We'll round this up to 120. So $240 from 640. So that's roughly $880. So I have roughly $1,120 remaining to buy some stocks. All right, another stock we want to take a look at is Visa. So Visa crossed several last week sometime. This has been on our list to take a look at. And hopefully we have enough money to max out and purchase enough shares of Visa. Again, when we have a cross of the fast-moving average above the slow-moving average, I like to max out. And for Visa, I have 1 share per book, so that's a total of 4 shares. We have 3 shares that we are actually going to buy. We have a clear continuation to move. This red candle doesn't mean anything because we're looking back at this cross, and we're significantly above the candle at this cross. So we're purchasing 3 shares at hopefully 351.82, and we got it for 351.82. So we're maxed out with Visa. All right, one that's been sitting on our list for several weeks is another ETF, XLU, and this is an index for ETF for utilities. Now, when I maxed out on XLU, I like to have 16 shares. I currently have 8, so that would be 4 shares per book. And up until today, every single time that we went to purchase stocks, I did not have enough money to purchase XLU. As days progress, I like to purchase stocks that have crossed for that particular day. But now I have a little bit of extra money. I've got roughly $500 left. All of my day trading stocks have been purchased. I'm all fully bought up with my day trading stocks, prepared for tomorrow morning. Now, typically, I wouldn't purchase something that's this many days away from the cross, but XLU is again, it's an ETF for utilities, and with AI, utilities companies and utility stocks they're just going up over time. There's no way around that. So I want to be maxed out in that. So we're going to purchase 8 shares of that, and that'll max us out. Although I can't purchase here in the active trader, it's now after hours, so I have to come here. And we're looking for XLU. We're going to right click and we're looking to purchase 8 shares. We'll bump this up to 8. And the current price says about $90.80. So let's go ahead and see $90. We're going to drop this down to 80. Good till cancel extended hours. Your order exceeds regular buying powder. I did not do my math. Well, I only have $590 a piece, so I can only get 1 book. So we'll drop back down and we'll order 4. Buy. Should have done my math. All right, $90 and tried at 90 cents. So $90.90 for 4 shares of XLU. And that's it. I don't have any other stocks. We'll just leave that $130 alone. And we have all of our sells and we have all of our buy alerts taken care of for the day. So with that, we'll take a look, go back to our standard S&P 500, our SPX, and see we have an all-time record high. We reached an all-time record high at $6,755.64. And we closed at an all-time high, roughly $2 lower than our all-time high. You can see the wick there. So we have 2 highs today, and that's just been the pattern for the S&P 500 for the majority of this 3-month run. It's been more than 3 months, actually. I can expand this out to a different time frame. Let's go with 1 year and 1 day. Expand this out. So we've been on a run since April 21st. So we're over 5 months on the S&P 500 on an absolute amazing record run. And there's no telling how far we're going to continue running. Most of the experts expect us to hit $7,000 this year. So we're $350 away, $250 away from $7,000. That's a lot of money that we all can be making. If you're not in the markets yet, you might want to consider getting in. There's plenty of room. And again, you're not trying to make money just for today or tomorrow. I'm trying to inspire you to open up a retirement account. So this is a long-term, life-changing event that I'm trying to have you do, or hoping that you do. Let's replace the word trying with inspiring. I'm not trying to have you do it. I'm trying to inspire you to make your own decisions and to open a IRA and start investing for your future. So with that, let's take a look and see what we actually did today. All right, we sold JP Morgan, we sold American Express, I sold Roku, I put a sell order for Bank of America and TJX, and I bought XYZ, V for Visa, Twilio, and XLU. So if you've been watching my videos, you can see, if you have been following me, you can see that I'm profitable. I'm making good, smart, intelligent trades. If you haven't been following me, take a look at my videos. You certainly can track every trade I've made. You can see where I've made money. You can see where I've placed sell orders, waiting until price turns back around and we're able to sell those at a profit. So again, I'm looking to inspire you to open an account. If you're not profitable, if you already have an account or you're trading and you're not profitable, again, go back and look at my videos. You can see I am making profits. I'm making money. And hopefully, if you choose to make some of the trades I make and follow me, you can too. Now, the purpose of the swing trade is that if you miss my video for that day, you don't need to, you're not missing anything. You can buy into the stock the next day, or even 2 days, or even 3 days later. Same thing goes with the sell. If you miss a trade, if you start following me and copying my trades, if you do that, if you miss a video, you can always sell a day or 2 or 3 days later. A swing trading strategy, we're looking for stocks that are going to be running for weeks and hopefully months. And in this particular case, if we were just trading the S&P 500, we're looking at a 5-month run. So with that, let's take a look at our chart of the day. And our chart of the day is AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. So let's go down to our 1 day and 2 minute chart. Whoops. 1 day, 2 minute chart. Where is that? I thought I saved it in. All right, we'll go up to 2 minutes, time frame, 2 minutes. All right, let's expand this out. So Advanced Micro Devices, AMD started out at roughly $212 and it closed around $235. So that is a 23 roughly dollar gain. And not only that, it's still gaining. We're in extended hours. So from extended hours at 235 to over 239, that's another $4, near $4.50 at this point. So that is an 11.4% from open to close for Advanced Micro Devices. And that's due in large part with the new partnership with OpenAI. If you watched my videos 2 days ago, you'll see that AMD advanced 24% on the day that the partnership with OpenAI was released that morning. So if we expand this out and we go to 1 day, how about 5 days and 5 minutes, you'll see we went from $166 to almost $240. That's a massive, massive gain, all on the partnership with OpenAI. And if you didn't see the video 2 days ago, it was at roughly 6:45, 6:45 is when the news dropped about the partnership of Advanced Micro Devices with OpenAI. And it took off from there and consolidated for the rest of that day on into yesterday and took off again today. Tomorrow, if we're able to make some more sales and I have a little bit more money, I am going to purchase some extra Advanced Micro Devices. And one reason is because we just came out of where the fast moving average crossed above the slow moving average. And this is usually a pretty good indicator that we're going to be going in an upward trend for quite a while. And especially with the great news of the partnership, especially with the superconductor industry on a tear right now. If you've seen the latest AI software creating images, that Sora, that was released by OpenAI, it's absolutely impressive. The amount of compute and computer capabilities that's needed to run that, and the demand that we as consumers are going to have on the AI industry is going to be massive. So if we're able to make some sales tomorrow and we have a little bit of money, I'm probably going to double up and go from 4 to 8 on Advanced Micro Devices. And if you don't have any AMD yet, do some research. See if you are or rather come to the same conclusion that I did, and maybe you'll want to purchase some additional AMD. So let's go back to our standard chart, which is our 3 month and 1 day. We'll go back to our S&P 500, which is SPX, which is the ETF there. That's the index. So now we'll take a look at my earnings for the day and the portfolio performance year to date. And here we go. I have made $788.84 today. The majority of that, again, if you're new to my videos, this is from my day trading strategies. Now today on my swing trading strategy, the video that's designed to be specifically to help you is we made $226. So the remainder of that was all through day trading. Again, $788.84. This account year to date that I've been trading in that we opened on August 19th is performing at 7.94% compared to the S&P 500 at 4.92. Our old account that I had to close down, all the assets were transferred from that account to this account. This one was closed on August 18th. We were performing at 16.26% compared to the S&P 500 at 10.54. And if we combine the two balances, we total these up, we get a sum of 24.2% is what my performance is compared to the S&P 500 at 15.46%, which leaves me performing 8.74% greater than the S&P 500. Again, most of this is from my day trading strategies. Now, the day trading that I do, I trade every stock that I'm swing trading are stocks that I plan on holding, quote unquote, for a very, very, very long time. When I started this strategy, I identified over 200 stocks that I thought would be a good to hold for, if not 10 years, then maybe 20 or 30. For as long as they're profitable and they're still in the S&P 500, I'll be holding them. And my day trading strategies are also only contained within that basket of stocks that I chose to hold long-term as a long-term investor. So with that, I am done. Hopefully you had a great day. I hope you have an awesome and amazing rest of your Wednesday afternoon. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Please help me get out into other people's faces and on their feeds that they may find that I might be able to help them, whether they are not in the markets, to help them get into the markets. And if they are in the markets, if they're not trading, then to help them be profitable traders. That is my goal. And with your help, again, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll accomplish that together.